I don't really know, guys. I mean, I do. I thought, just there was news on it, like they're having a discussion about something. The but because people are thinking, like I thought you're doing the thing like the unified field is like where there's that. I mean, it's pain. And I thought like right, like you're trying to tell me like don't say anything. Like don't say anything. Like, I know what you're thinking. Don't say anything. Like, well, I understand. That's important, when it goes to political things, the political parties, like, that's alright. That's alright. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, yo, just like, look like you were taking a nap, guy. Like, don't say anything about this. It's alright, I understand. But no, there's pain. I mean, it's that thing, the unified field thing. Very frightening because I know how much you could ramp it up. But I mean, do you want me to say what I mean, I think I know to be true. Look, let me first say my position towards the Democratic Party and Obama. I believe that the move to that if they could do it, I mean, if there's a way, see, I don't know. I mean, people have talked about previous presidents going way back who are attempting to consolidate power in the executive branch because of like what a legislative branch like one, but for different reasons at different times. I think I actually wrote a paper about it, graduate school, like the the sort of like ways in which like at various times people tried to expand the power of the executive branch in general. Well, we have a Congress that's one political party is intractable and is filled with people who like must they're stupid or they're sick or like I don't know. Everything that Obama has on the agenda, it's different with different presidents and stuff, but these are all things that like have to happen. I mean, for us to be a functioning civilized society, that is to say, like if when they changed the rules in the Congress about no more filibusters, like right, you want all kinds of things like this. You have an intractable. Is there some incarnation of the Republican Party in Congress that like it must be I mean they're just I mean what they're doing I don't think like the any Republican congressman did stuff like this, but what you'd want, especially when the other party has on the agenda all the things that are simply like rational. You know what I mean? They don't have like a controversial position or something. No, like these are all things to move forward on, like healthcare, getting, these are things that like you simply want if you could wave a magic wand would be to say just like do whatever they can to win support for the Democratic Party wants to do and move forward. It's it's as though the other party in Congress, like as though they're opposing civilization at this point. I mean, these are all things you want, like health care and stuff, or even things like to extend to the other party to make sure people who are desperate can have unemployment insurance or food stamps given the conditions for people in the society. Okay. But what they're talking about on all these channels, one of the things that different kinds of people like, different people in the Congress people, mayors, people, pundits, stuff like that. Like one of the things that they're talking about all the time, talk about it now too, has to do with what they're calling gun control. They don't have like a series. It comes up every time there's like a shooting, and it comes up when there's like a shooting or something. But given the kind of proposals, like they don't have a it's something people who are like sort of liberally minded like they like to hear in a speech, like we're gonna do something about gun control, like you don't need a certain kind of weapon to hunt, and there have to be background checks as there have been shootings. Like, yeah, they don't have like a serious comprehensive plan to stop just saying like we have more murders with guns than any other society, this and that. I mean, just making speeches about it. They don't have a serious, comprehensive like political proposal that would do much of anything with regard to like the amount of gun crime. Like they don't really have a grip on like how to do that. You can put pain in my testicles if you want, but if you want the Democratic Party to fucking lose, and you want to see healthcare go down the toilet, and you want to see the poor suffer, let these narcissistic scumbags in the Democratic Party keep talking about gun control with no real solution. You have no idea how seriously the part of the country that have. I'm not sure it's a majority of the country, but I think it may be. The gun issue is very serious, okay? People aren't fucking around when they're very scared of anything that would take. There may be a move to limit people's ability to get a gun, to own a gun, okay? It's so serious that the National Rifle Association has an incredible amount of power in our society because the majority of the society takes this very seriously, okay? A lot of that literature that's read by people who are like sort of young political radicals, it's often like some of it talks about they depict a future where everybody didn't fight hard enough to make sure it couldn't happen, and it did. They finally took away people's weapons. People who are afraid of what kind of country we're living in, people who are afraid of all kinds of things. In our country, what makes it different here is not the amount of gun crimes and things like that. The thing that's really different here is how dead seriously the majority of the population takes the issue that they don't want anyone interfering with their right to get a gun or making it more difficult, and there's a lot of reasons why. It's a major feature of our society that's different from other ones. People are very concerned that someone's going to limit their right to get a gun, regulate it to where they can't get a gun when they want it, and there's a lot of reasons people feel unsafe in this country. The Democratic Party has everything on the table that they really should happen. Help for the poor, health care, making sure people, who are desperate at a time like this can get government assistance. I mean, everything they want is moral and rational. If these narcissistic scumbags in the Democratic Party start yapping about gun control and bring that into the agenda that Obama wants, and they begin to do things, you want them to do things that would allow the Democratic Party to move forward. But if the majority of the country sees the Democratic Party doing that and moving forward with the agenda, and part of what they're doing is saying things that would indicate to people they're going to make it harder to get a gun, the Democratic Party's going to lose. They don't live in fucking reality about how seriously people in this country take this issue and how afraid they are that someone's going to limit their right to get a gun. And until you've lived in America and you're a citizen here and you lived here your whole life, if you're from another fucking society or something that doesn't understand, this is a place where people want to be able to make sure no one's going to take away their guns, okay? Just leave it alone. But I'm telling you, they'll fuck the whole thing up. Health care and help for the poor and everything. Yeah, they'll snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory when they got the moral program on their side. They have the right ideas. Tell everyone in the fucking liberal bullshit part of our country to keep their mouths shut about this gun thing unless they want to absolutely lose the next election, not be able to move forward on healthcare and helping the poor. Leave it alone. They don't have a real solution for how to control the amount of gun crimes, and it's taken very seriously in this country by the majority and by the most powerful political action group we have. People don't want anyone doing anything to limit their right to get a gun. If you don't like it, move to another country. I'm telling you, the Democratic Party is going to fuck up all their chances of moving forward a moral agenda if they don't muzzle all these liberals who just like narcissistically talking about the need for gun control without a real solution, and don't understand the psychology of our population. And I don't blame people for being concerned about that, given the kind of things that go on in our country, the kind of political class we have, and the kind of dangers people are in from all kinds of movements, one of which be just leave it alone.